Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So I've recently been working with a friend of mine called Karen on some new products for the new year, for 2024. And some of the products that I've been helping her create have all been about pagan gods and goddesses and that kind of stuff. And I came across a piece of imagery of the earth goddess, Gaia, depending on how you want to spell it. There are different ways to spell it. But I love the shape of the kind of representation of the earth goddess as being a kind of voluptuous, hippie, wide-hipped lady or a woman with her arms above her head, if you know what I mean. So I wanted to kind of incorporate that in an art journal page today. I want to try and pay homage to Mother Earth today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and draw my own version of that goddess, earth goddess kind of symbol onto an art journal page. I'm going to be using my Momigami journal. So this is the journal that I created. That's made up, the pages are made up of scraps and fragments of other junk mail and magazines and that kind of stuff. So let me turn over to my overhead camera and I'll show you the journal and then I'll kind of work through the process with you. So I'm kind of hoping I've got the camera straight. I'm using my phone, which is on a gimbal overhead. So this is, like I said, the Momigami journal that I created last year. And like I said, it's made up of just fragments of paper that were all glued together and then moisturized to create a really nice kind of textured but supple page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this page today. So I'm just going to grab some white gesso. I've got some dirty water, mainly because I just keep forgetting to empty my water pot. But it doesn't matter for this page because it's all going to be earthy anyway. I've got some kitchen towel as well, so that's fine. Grab some white gesso. So this is Dina Wakley Media white gesso. Any gesso will do. And I'm just going to go into the middle of the page. I'm not going to go all the way to the outside. I want to leave a little bit of a border, and I'm going to just scrub with my brush into all the texture onto the page. Because it's made up of fragments, it's already wrinkly and you've got loads of beautiful kind of texture in that background even before you start. So one of these journals made like this is great if you're one of those people who has difficulty facing a white page, because each of the pages, it's not white. Even, you know, as soon as you open the page, as soon as you open the book, it's there. You've got something different. So let's just go on with that gesso, like so. And when it dries, it will go more translucent, so you will actually see more of that stuff in the background, the writing, the pictures, the text, which is fine, which is absolutely fine for what we want to do today. So let me just dry that off. The page is now dry, or the gesso is now dry, and I've gone through my paint collection and pulled out some what I class as earth tones. So I've got, well, this is definitely earth tone because it's called Terra Verde. So earth green. Then we have yellow ochre, which I've just noticed that's a brand new pot, yay. And I've also got some hot cocoa. So we've got browns, greens and yellow ochres. I've also got a couple of other kind of skin tones. So I've got brown and I've got a medium beige and a porcelain colour, which are good for skin tones as well, whichever kind of depth you want to go to. And I've just got some warm colours as well. So I've got a rouge colour, just for a little bit of warmth, pinkness, if you like. And I have a little bit of a metallic-y red. This one's called Dragonfire. So that's going to be used for a highlight towards the end of the project. Fingers crossed. So what I want to do is I want to just open up these two colours first of all. So the yellow ochre, get that one opened. Hadn't realised that was a brand new one. I'm just going to give them a quick shake up because I'm not really sure what stage these are at, whether these are still runny or whether they've started to thicken up somewhat. Look at that. One bubble, like a swamp. And then the yellow ochre. Oh, look at that. Beautiful colours. So the aim is to have a kind of yellowy ochre-y centre, and then that's going to blend out towards the green at the end. See, at the end, towards the outer part. But I'm also going to be kind of wiping away too, using a wet wipe. I've got a baby wipe here. Excuse the crinkly noises. So if I go too heavy, I can always wipe back. So, all right, let's grab a brush and we'll start off in the middle. Let's grab some of that ochre. And then we'll start in the middle here. And I'm just going to go around and around. Just take some from the lid. Because we've added the gesso down onto the page, it will form a barrier just to kind of stop the paint from absorbing straight away. So you have got all that kind of play time to be able to maneuver the paint around before it kind of sets in place. So that's the beauty of gessoing your page, is that it allows you that kind of play time to be able to maneuver the paint. So without even cleaning the brush, I'm just going to start picking up some of the green and start blending that in, which is it's a lot more of a stronger colour. So as you work your way around, you can see how that blend is starting to work with the yellow. And then if you think you've gone a bit too far like I have at the top, I'm just going to grab some of the yellow back on the brush from the middle and then work back out again. Grab some more of the ochre. And then we'll just start working our way around. There we go. A bit more yellow, I think. Okay, so I'm okay with the brush strokes and the brush marks in the paint. It is shiny because it's still wet. So what I'll do is I'll just give it a quick blast with the heat gun, and then we can see what we've got, and then we can take it from there. While the journal is cooling down, because it's still quite warm from the heat gun, I've traced out or drawn out my kind of goddess shape that I want to use on the art journal. And I've done it on rice paper. I've only put it on top of card just so you can see it a lot easier than if it was on the black background. You can see it a lot better and clearer if it's on a white kind of cardstock. So what I want to do is I've got some water here with a brush, and I'm going to just break the bonds of that rice paper like I've done quite a few times recently using the rice paper. So this is a technique I've used quite a few times in art journal pages over the last few weeks or so. And it will just break the bonds of that paper, let it soak. And then what you should be able to do is just tear and get a real nice kind of feathered edge all the way around. Let me take it off the paper now so you can see better. Now what we have found out is that this technique works great if you're using it on a lighter background, but it doesn't work quite so good if you're trying to do this onto a really dark background. You really have to get the rice paper saturated for it to disappear completely, we've discovered. So there's my kind of goddess shape. And that's where I wanted to go onto the page. So what I want to do is I want to get some matte medium, which I had here. It's right there in front of me. And I'm going to give the page a quick coat of matte medium because I want to get some on the back side, on the reverse of the rice paper when it goes down. So, which will help it to bond. So there's plenty on, and obviously the matte medium will also help get rid of any shine issues, because I don't like shine on my art journals. Right, so we'll drop her right down in the middle, just like that, and then I can just gently use the excess of the matte medium just to gently brush down, and that will enable the rice paper to soak all the way through. And make it as transparent as possible, really. And if you don't think you've got enough, you can always add a little bit more. There we go. Just to be on the safe side. I mean, we will be adding colour over the top of this anyway. There we go. So just give it one more brush over all the way. That should do. And then we'll get it dried off. That's now cooled down enough for me to be able to just hold my hand on it there. I've also just given it a little bit of a gentle rub with my finger, just to eliminate any kind of pockets of matte medium that were sitting in wrinkles or grooves within the paper. So there you can see the tissue, that rice paper has pretty much disappeared altogether. You can barely see where it used to be, but it's left the pencil marks behind, which is exactly what we want. So that's going to give us a guide for painting, which is absolutely spot on, definitely what we want. So I'm just going to grab some paint brushes. Here we go. And then I'm going to begin to kind of add paint, and I'm going to mix on the page. So I've got the cocoa, and I've also got some of the warm, or the medium beige, which again I haven't opened for some reason. Thought I'd used most of these portrait paints. Indigo Blue do a really good range of portrait colours, and they have skin tones ranging from the palest to the darkest. So you can pretty much, regardless of what your ethnicity is, you can pretty much get the right kind of tone just by mixing one with the other. I think they're absolutely fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the hot cocoa, and I'm just going to bring it round to create a bit of a dark kind of cocoon shape just around the outside. And I don't mind, obviously, if this isn't exactly perfect. Throughout the entire of 2023, we've strived for imperfection, which kind of seems a bit counterintuitive, but we've kind of ignored perfection and just embraced the imperfection this year, and not tried too hard. Right, so while that's still kind of wet, I'm going to start breaking this colour up and start blending with those lighter colours to try and create more of an earthy tone within that kind of cocoon shape that we've got. And if I manage to do it before it dries completely, so much the better. But what I can do is just add more of the darker colour, just a tad, just to help to blend. If I don't think I've got to it in time to get a nice kind of even blend. There we go. And then we'll just start bringing in a lighter colour. And I'm just using the lid just because it's a handy little palette. And I'm really just using the brush and the paint to colour, really. I wouldn't have said painting, more colouring with paint than anything. I'm not trying to form shapes or create abstract-y kind of designs this time. We're just literally just colouring with paint. I suppose, is that what painting is? What's the definition of painting? Answers on a postcard. For that matter, what's the definition of art? Yeah, let's not get into that one today. So I'm going to go through and just add that darker colour around our goddess's head. Just because I kind of want that darker area so that it's a bit shadier or a bit in the background, so it kind of pushes it into the background a little bit, and we can add just a touch, maybe just up there, just to kind of lighten it up a little bit. There we go. Lovely stuff. Right, so wash the brush. I'm just going to pop those lids to one side. I'm going to give that time to dry, or I'm going to give it a blast to dry, so that I can start painting on the inside, those inside shapes. Right, so that paint is now dry, so I'm just going to come in now with the lightest kind of shade, almost white. This is the porcelain. I've hardly got any of this left, so I'm hoping I've got enough. Otherwise I'm going to have to mix some white gesso with some of that warm tan colour. Was it warm tan, or was it the medium beige? The medium beige. Okay. And I'm painting kind of in sections because I want to leave myself some indication of where those swirls and the lines need to be. I'm trying to make it easy on myself later on when we come to add the detail and the fine lining. I'm trying not to paint out the lines. Like I said, it's more of an exercise in colouring in with paint than it is more with paint. But I suppose, I mean, what, yeah, like I said, what is painting? All right, so I'm just going to grab some of that warmer tone back again, and then just start adding a little bit of that in, just as kind of shadow or shading, but just as a hint. I'm not going mad. Just to add a little bit of kind of depth to it. I think I might just have enough. Sorry if I get my head in the shot. I'm so busy concentrating. Again, I apologise if I forget to talk while I'm doing this. Okay. Like I said, I'm trying to make sure that I leave areas that I know I'm going to come back into later, so I don't particularly want to do. I'm going to go over the edges. I'm going to come in with a fine liner and add the detail either with a pen or a pencil. Depends what I think it needs. But at this stage, I'm probably leaning towards a pencil rather than a pen. Okay, so let's grab some of that warm colour again. I don't want too much. Just a little bit of shade. I'll just grab some more of the light colour if I think I've gone a bit too far. There we go. Lovely. Right, so I just need to remember to do a head. Because do you know what? I nearly forgot that I hadn't done a head. I'm looking at it thinking, yeah, it looks great. I've just managed to get all the bits that I need to do out of that paint before it runs out. And then obviously I just noticed, oh, you haven't done the head. Get so carried away with yourself. Come on. There we go, lovely. So So one last final area to do, which is the spiral. Come on, must be enough paint left in there. And the spiral, if you're wondering, represents the turning of the seasons, the turning of the year, if you've ever wondered. The cycles of the earth. Okay, right, happy with that just for the time being. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give that a quick dry off, and then we'll come in and add a little bit more detail. Everything's dry, and as you can see, I've got out the pencils. It's something you don't see me get out very often. So I've got a mixture of kind of skin tones again, different skin tones, browns. I've got those kind of peachy beiges, I've got some yellows, and I've got a green. I know it looks brown, but it's a green. But I've also got a grey colour as well, just for some shade and shadow. And I'm hoping that my pencil sharpener is sharp enough not to start shredding the colour. Yes, that's perfect. So we've got, this is a petrol grey. Not petrol as in the fuel, but petrol, P-E-T-R-E-L. Is that a bird? So what we can do is I can start to come in with that and start to do the fine detail, the lining. With that pencil. So these are Derwent Colour Soft pencils. As I said, I don't get these out on a regular basis. But I knew these probably would work better than trying to do it in a fine liner, in a pen rather than a pencil. These are a lot softer and a lot nicer sometimes. We don't always want harsh lines. Sometimes we do just want to do a little bit of softness and shadow and shade and a little bit of blending. You know what I mean? Right, so let me just colour in the hat. I've got two different reds. I've got a red and I've got a scarlet. I've got a funny feeling the scarlet's probably going to be better. So, and I probably should have added white gesso to this. But do you know what? Ain't nobody perfect. We kind of get the gist of what we're supposed to be doing, don't we? And again, if you wanted to, you could add just some nice kind of, I've got a stump, a blending stump. Yeah, probably better if I do it with my fingers. But anyway, what I can do now is I can just go around with that petrol grey and then just start adding in that fine detail, My head keep poking in this corner here. This corner here. Hello. I remember years ago when I first kind of started doing art journal videos, before I really started showing my face, before I got that kind of like confident about showing my face, and somebody left a comment on one of my very, very early videos and said, why does it say Mike when it's obviously a woman's hands? Which I thought was hilarious. Oh, hello. Got the fair contingent have just arrived. Hello, boys. What do you want? Is it playtime? Am I going to have to stop what I'm doing to play Teddy with you two? Hey, is that what it is? I'll be back in a minute. Those dogs will wear me to a frazzle. So we've just had plays with Teddy. Nipper's been chasing his pink unicorn. Bentley's been chasing Ted. And then Nipper decided he wanted to have a run around the garden, so I've just let him out. Doesn't matter that we've got storm winds at the moment. Warnings from the power grid that we might be losing power. Which will be fun because of the storms and the high winds we've got. But anyway, he's gone out, he's had a run around the garden. Alright, giddy, kind of zoomy around the garden, so he's more than happy. And now they've just had a treat. So, yeah, they're all definitely happy. So I'll just add that detail in, and then we'll get some of those darker colours in just to add a little bit of movement and shade. Okay. Movement and shade, and then just a tiny kind of bit of pink on her boobies, because why not? We're all adults here. Just kind of representative. You guys know me well enough now to know that there's nothing in that. And then we can just come in again with some of that brown. I think maybe just with some of that darker pink. Is that too? It's too light a pink, that one. I want a darker pink, that one. There we go. Just to kind of warm it up a little bit. And yes, I am aware, I'm not blind to the fact of what it looks like, but we are talking about the earth goddess, goddess of fertility and all that. Like I said, come on, we're all adults. Lovely, like it a lot. Me likey likes. So you can't really tell now what's been painted and what's been coloured in, can you? Definitely not. Right, so what I'm going to do is I think I want to bring in some more kind of earthy things up here. So I want some leaves, some leafies. I think I've got a stencil for that, but I've got to go find it first because I haven't seen it in years. But I know I've definitely got one. I'll be right back. Okay, I can't find the stencil that I wanted. I know I've still got it because I have seen it recently, but I just don't know where it is. But this will do. This is a nice kind of flourish one from Tim Holt, so that will do for adding a little bit of detail just in those kind of corner areas around about. So I've just got some stays on ink in ganache, which is a kind of brown colour, and I'm just going to gently, I'm just going to give it a suggestion of flora. There we go, just a hint. And then down here at the bottom, I'll do the same again. You can be as explicit as you want, really, but I'm just doing it as a kind of a nod, a hint as to what she represents of the earth. Lovely. And I'm just doing all four corners because maybe a bit more in this one. I think this stencil has actually possibly had it, in true English sense, knackered. I've had it for quite some time. Like it a lot. So what I need now is I just want to ground her. So let's just grab Stabilo All pencil, which is water soluble, and we're just going to add a little bit of shade in, tiny little bit of water, just to kind of activate that across the bottom. And just let the water blend it out. Just helps to ground it. So she looks now more like an altarpiece, which is fine, which is kind of what we started out with the idea of. An altarpiece for a goddess. Don't mind that in the slightest. Okay, let me get that dried off. All right, so just to finish off, I've printed off just a couple of lines just to give it a little bit of a quote, if you like, a purpose. So this is just a little kind of earth goddessy I'm not even sure whether it needs it or not, but you know, let's just see for now. I may have to cut it into smaller bits. Oh, what's the matter, Mr. Nipsey? Do you want to play again? Eh? Do you want to play again? Let me just snip that there. Okay, all right then. Let's see if we can... I don't know whether you can hear him. Right, I'll be back. Right, that's both of them sorted out. So, I've cut my little quote, which I think we're going to put just over here at the top, or maybe up there, and then just to finish it off, down here a little bit. I think that'll do. So I just want to add a little bit of distressing just around, just to get it to blend, just so it's not quite so stark. There we go. I think in 2024 I may just have to go out and purchase another vintage photo ink pad. I've actually lasted practically all 2023 without one because mine disappeared. I think it disappeared off into Ian's workshop and I never saw it again. So that's why I've been using brushed corduroy all year. So I'll probably have to invest, as the saying goes. Now then, glue. Is this going to work? Yeah, I think I might just be able to coax enough glue out of this little bottle to do our bidding. This is just spirit glue. Do you know, I'm tempted just to bring it down a little bit. There we go. The problem with this kind of glue in those types of bottles is that they dry up. And they dry up quite quickly. The nozzles get gummed up, stuffed up. I go through them at a rate of knots. Here we go. Yeah. Will that come off? Yes, it will. There we go. Don't ask me why I did that. No idea. No idea why I did that. Okay, so we have a lovely Earth Goddessy art journal page. I like that. I enjoyed doing that as well. It was something a bit different for me. So paint and pencils, but also Earth Goddessy. What more could you want? So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create this art journal page today. If you have, please give the video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, then you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. And don't forget, you can access your exclusive angel-only content over on my website. There's a link in the description area below. Thank you.